Hey guys, Ryan here from Indy Wrestling School, and today we're talking about how you can set your rate as a professional wrestler. Coming up. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing below. We put out new videos every single week. And normally on this channel, we talk about how to become an independent professional wrestling booker or promoter. But I get a lot of questions about the ins and outs of being a wrestler on the side of independent wrestling. And one of the questions I get asked often is, how do you figure out what you should be charging bookers? Now, let me just say right from the outset, there is a number of times where a booker will reach out to you and say, hey, I have this much budgeted for this spot. Can you make it work? Years ago, I used to ask everybody what their rate was. And as I've gotten more and more experienced, I just now tell them, here's what I can afford. Can you do it? Yes or no? And if they can, great. If they can't, we move on and we try to find somebody else. Now, when you first start out, it's very common that you won't make any money. Is it fair? No. Is it common? Very common. After that, you can expect to make $10, $20, $30. And once you start developing a bit of a reputation, you'll move up to $50. The next logical step is then in increments of 25, pretty much. 75, 100, 125, 150, 200, so on and so forth. Now, how do you decide once you're at that level where you can move it up? Accolades, do they matter? How many titles you've won? Not always. So if you've won a title in a, let's call it a no-name promotion, a promotion that nobody's really heard of, then odds are your booking rate is not going to increase. If you win a prestigious tournament somewhere, there's a possibility you can raise your rate. If you win a prestigious title, a title that a lot of people have heard of, there's a possibility you could raise your rate. If you see that you're getting booked every single weekend at your current rate, you most likely can raise your rate. Even if you're only doing it at $10, $20 increments, you can raise your rate. You also need to figure out what it's going to cost you to travel to some of these shows. So if you're in New Jersey and you're taking a booking in Maine, maybe it doesn't make sense to only make $50 for the show because you're going to spend that in gas and tolls. So there's a lot that goes into it, but when you first start, that first year or two, you'll probably be making $50 or less, realistically. Now, you're welcome to set your rate at whatever you want because it's art, right? At the end of the day, people will pay what they value you at. So if you set your rate at $300 your first year in and people are paying it, absolutely, you made the right choice. But if you're not getting booked anywhere and being told they can't afford it, that's still your choice. You don't need to take those bookings. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to leave the house. But just know you won't be taking any bookings. You won't be improving. You won't be getting on shows and you won't be putting yourself out there. But at the end of the day, it's your call. It's entirely up to you what you think you should be making. And hopefully promoters and the fans will justify whatever your rate is. And they'll keep booking you and you'll keep coming back and everybody will be making money. That's when the pro wrestling ecosystem works best. So what do you think? What's a good rate when you first start out in independent wrestling? Is $20 too much? Too little? I know a lot of fans tend to throw out, well, they should be making way more money. But look at it from the promoter side too, because that money needs to come from somewhere. Do they charge more money for fans? Do they just sell more tickets? Or do they justify how many tickets they're selling and pay off the house? There's a lot of different variables. I know a lot of people like to look at it from one point of view, but there's several point of views to look at it. And as a promoter myself, I can see all points. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, beat the shit out of the like button, and we'll see you next week right here on Indy Wrestling School.